We're talking to Canelo directly. Of course, we promote and we manage. We oversee Badu, and there is the intention to have the fight. I believe out of the 5 or 6, maybe a little bit more terms that are there, I think we're agreed on the majority of them. I think the only thing that's sticking right now is where that weight is, because the financial terms are agreed upon, the date is agreed upon, everything is there. It's just that the weight is where the sticking point is. But if you want to come up to cruiserweight, then you have to fight at cruiserweight. And I think that's where the hesitation is. You can't ask a guy that walks around at 205, 210, fights at 200 to come in at super middleweight or light heavyweight. We have 90% of the terms agreed to. It's just the remaining, 1 or 2 items. And I think the weight is going to be the...
Let's go. Look, Jamal Charlo, good. I like where your head's at, man. You're back in there, training, everything like that, calling out Boo-Boo Andrade. That's appropriate. I like that. That's appropriate. And that's something that should have been happened, really. But, circumstances, things kind of happened, whatever, okay? And I was one to say this, and Canelo Alvarez, he echoed it as well. You guys got to start fighting each other. Y'all fight each other instead of sitting in that long line waiting on Canelo. I like that. It's time to move on. I think Canelo Alvarez, that's it. I think he's on his way out. Him seriously taking on Badu Jack. Listen, bro, I know you guys going to defend him at all costs. But Canelo, let me break this down for you guys. Choosing to fight a 40-year-old Badu Jack, who became champion at cruiserweight, on the undercard of Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Wasn't that the fight? Badu Jack isn't a household name, so there's not a big demand for Badu Jack. But nobody in their right mind who follows boxing at all would say Canelo beating a 40-year-old Badu Jack is greater for his legacy and more demanded than him defending his 168-pound crown against the number 1 contender, David Benavidez. David Benavidez fought Caleb Plant in a hot, highly anticipated fight, 2 fighters in their primes. When Canelo fought Caleb Plant did the slap.
Don't get paid.
When he did the slap, it went viral. That fight with Plant and Canelo Alvarez became a big fight. Then Canelo Alvarez knocked him out, but then Caleb Plant responded by having a knockout of the year type of knockout against a rail.
Another body shot now, huge!
So he was hot. And then he fight David Benavidez. David Benavidez, who is David Benavidez? Well, one of the hottest boxing shows on social media is Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson, he calls David Benavidez the Mexican monster.
The Mexican monster.
Who?
Benavidez.
And that goes viral to the point where David Benavidez changed his name to the Mexican monster. And then him and Caleb Plant, a like opponent with Canelo Alvarez, have a crazy lead up to their fight, so it's hot. And then David Benavidez beats him.
When he started going with the body. Right hand by Benavidez.
It's hot, bro. David Benavidez is far more relevant, far more of a demand than a 40-year-old Badu Jack. It's not greater for Canelo Alvarez's legacy to fight a 40-year-old Badu Jack at a catch weight and still want to put the belt on the line. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. All you need to do is just switch names, Canelo with anybody else, and y'all not having that. That's ridiculous. Especially, that alone is bad, especially not responding to a $50 million offer from his most demanded opponent today. By boxing fans, from Canelo fans, is whatever Canelo want, right? Whatever you like.
What do you like to do?
Whatever you like.
What kind of music do you like?
Whatever kind of music you like.
That's Canelo fans, right? Whatever you like. That's the servants to Canelo. But I'm saying boxing fans, That is the most demanded fight, David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. During the most hot David Benavidez has been, right? After beating Caleb Plant on Mexican Independence Day. You can't get a more lit fight than that, especially for legacy for Canelo Alvarez and the money, because it's just more demanded. So there is no argument, right? I've also covered the fact that David Benavidez, yes, had a contract with Morrell as an option B contract. Morrell was stepping aside. It was a step aside contract. The contract itself was stepping aside. So he could be an option B if things don't work out with Canelo. Team Canelo didn't even respond, and now we know why. So Canelo can negotiate, and they're 90% done, negotiate with Badu Jack. That is stomach turning, okay? They got the message from Bivol. Bivol definitely didn't duck Canelo Alvarez because Bivol beat Canelo Alvarez one-sidedly, all right? Here's another thing. Bivol was the champion. See, at least with Devin, the American Dream, Haney versus Kambosos was a unified champion, which caused for the rematch. Bivol was the champion. People forget that, such up Canelo's ass. They forget Canelo was the contender because Canelo came in last and everything, right? He wasn't the man. It was Bivol. Bivol was the champion, beat him convincingly, and that's it. Champions, when they beat a contender convincingly, that's it. They get to go on. It's the reason why Gervonta Tank Davis like, hell no. And he gets to go on, though I think he should fight Isaac Cruz because it's so demanded. And I've called that a duck still because it was a highly contested fight, though. Bivol versus Canelo Alvarez wasn't even highly contested. So Bivol dominated him and was the champ. We don't have to go over this, all right? What you guys may have to do is emojis, pizza emojis, all over Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso's Twitter. Just pizza emojis. Because they're going to know what it is. Just, that's the call to action. Pizza emojis. All through that. So they can say, look, this is not what the fans want. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to start wrapping this up with this. What adds to your legacy is doing what the people want. All right? And I know people are going to say Canelo Alvarez, he's the king of the world, so he can do whatever he wants. That's the same argument people use with Floyd Mayweather, right? He could fight Berto instead of Keith one-time Thurman. He could do what he wants. He could fight McGregor to be 50-0. He could do what he wants. But see, that leaves the fans unhappy, right? That's why I'm happy the Floyd Mayweather effect is starting to end. I'm happy that we're at the end of this Mayweather effect. To see Jamal Charlo calling out Boo Andrade, good, because that shit shouldn't be working for us anymore. Canelo Alvarez, please, as a Canelo fan, fight David Benavidez. Respond to Team Benavidez so that contract, option B contract, can be null. Have David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez fight on Mexican Independence Day for legacy, undisputed, to defend your title, because that's what champions do. Canelo lost to Bivol, then he fought a 40-year-old Triple G, then fought John Ryder, and now going to fight a 40-year-old Badu. That's not hot. Just getting that belt just to say I got a trinket, that's not more potent and impactful for your legacy than fighting a fighter in his prime that's considered the Mexican monster, #1 contender, the Clubber Lane for you. That's it. What did Mick say to Rocky when Rocky said, they were champions or whatever he said, and then Mick said, they were handpicked?
Talk about, I've had 10 title defenses.
That was easy.
What do you mean easy?
They was handpicked.
That's what this is. All right? Badu Jack. They were handpicked. They weren't a killer like this guy here.
He'll knock you into tomorrow, Rock.
ShowBizz, don't. I'm out.